In today's video, I'm going to be sharing about how to hang different types of art and frames around your house. So the first and easiest method, I think, is that if you have light pictures that are flat, you can just use command strips. I like to stick 2 on the top, maybe 1 on the bottom, depending how heavy it is. And then you kind of line up where you want it, put some on the frame, some on the wall, and stick it on. Now these 2 have been hanging here for about a year or 2, so they've held up great. They're nice and light, and then when you're done with them, you just peel them off. I keep them on here in case I want to put them somewhere else, and then you just pull them off from the wall. Now, what happens if you have something that's heavy, like our next painting here? You might be worried that command strips aren't going to work. Probably not. There is a weight restriction. So we are going to want to use a nail. Another thing that command strip might not work, depending on your frame, even if you have something light, this one has like a little hook here that's in the way, so it's not going to create a nice like flat area for you to put your strips. So let me show you how we hang those. The first thing you're going to want to figure out is where you put the nail. So in this one, there's a string, you can see, and it's going to be kind of in the center here, and it's near the top. So I like to just kind of eyeball it and figure out, so somewhere in this height, but I don't know where I want this yet because I want to use a stud. So let me show you how that works. So let's say this height, which is kind of where my old command strips are. So I'm going to leave them there as a guide, and then I'm going to take this down and use a stud finder. So I can't go over the strip, so I'll just go a bit lower here. You just set it like this. Slowly move it left to right, and you can mark it like this and mark it like that, and that's where your stud is. If you don't want to color on your wall, you can always just use a piece of tape when you're doing it like that. So now I know where this is, and I don't really care kind of the height. If you are doing a gallery wall or you want something specific, you could measure it and get it exactly up there, but this is a super quick and easy tutorial. So now that we have our stud, I'm going to show you what you do. It's really easy. Essentially, you're just going to take a nail, and this is a 1.5 inch, just a finishing nail, so it doesn't have a really big head. You can get a larger head on the nail, and it'll help grab whatever on your frame better, but this I found has worked fine for me in the past, so that's what we're going to use today. And you're going to find your stud, go a bit higher because that's where I want it there, and then hammer it in. You know you hit the stud when it's a bit harder once you get through that drywall. If it goes through really easily, you probably missed a stud. Leave a bit of space because you are going to want to catch your little string or wherever. And there we go. Pictures that have the wires on the back are easy to make level. Just put your level at the top, and then you just move it left and right until the air bubble in your level is perfectly lined. And you can also tell when it's like really off because it'll just be a little off. Okay, so I've just showed you how to install a frame or a piece of art on a stud using a nail. Now you're going to say, what if I want to make a gallery wall or something where I want it exact and the studs don't line up? You could technically install your nail not in the stud, but it won't be as strong, so that's why I always try and stick to a stud. But I will show you my trick. Here I have my gallery wall in our basement guest bedroom, and I wanted them to be perfectly even with each other. So what I did, I'll show you, is I installed one of the nails onto a stud, and I installed the other one even with it, perfectly level, not on a stud, but that way when I put it on, I have a little bit of play left and right. And then once I figure out where I want it, I can just keep it. My other secret, you kind of saw it a little bit here, is sometimes I put tape or even the command strips or even those little sticky putties, and I put it on the back of the frame. And then once you figure out your perfect location, wherever that is, you can stick it on. You can also use the nail and sticky, whatever you're going to use method, if you just want to use one nail, but you want to kind of put a little bit over. I think I did it with this one. So we'll see. This one has some tape, one nail It wasn't perfectly lined up, it was teetering a bit, so just stick it on like that. One of the reasons I love using nails is because they're so thin. And if you ever have to cover the hole because you put in a wrong location or you're moving, you can take a little bit of caulk or a little bit of drywall mud and just fill in just the small little hole. You won't even tell. If you paint it over it, you might even be able to cover the hole with paint without having to patch it. I hope this video about how to hang different types of artwork comes in handy. Remember, a small nail into a stud is your best bet to hang your work. You can always use command strips or sticky putty if you have something smaller, lighter, or to give a lot of strength to what you do have with your nails. If you check out the blog post at madnessmethod.com, you can see how I hung different types of artwork around my house and the one time I used a screw. Thanks for watching!